Hi, boys and girls. We're doing a weather report on Saturday, and we're not supposed to, but it is January 8th, and this was scheduled for January 7th, which was my birthday, by the way. I was 29,934 days old yesterday, or 71 years. But we're doing it today because we don't know. Why are we doing this? You guys just...
Because you love it.
Oh, do I love doing this?
Yes, you do.
Okay.
You claim you don't, but you really do.
Yeah, last time I did this, it kind of turned into a little bit of a shit show for various reasons, which we will be addressing in the future, but probably not now. So, oh no, we lost Scott. Oh my God. Oh God, I bet he unsubbed. Damn it, Scott.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, he probably unsubbed.
Yep.
Shit. Anyway. So let's see what's going on. Oh God, there's a lot of stuff going on. So Sal Cordova's back. He did 2 videos on what are they called? Something about how tough it is to be a graduate student when you're a creationist.
Yeah.
Or something like that. Yeah. And there were 2 different videos, and there's Scott again.
Yeah, I had a hidden tab that I could not find that was making it like not only echo, but like triplicate or something, and triplicate. But I finally found it. But I had to jump out to sniff it out.
Yeah, I'm kind of triplicating myself. But anyway,
triplicated hard.
Yeah, so there's Sal Cordova, and then I found this, which is, let me see here. How long is this? I'm not sure if we can play this or not, but I think we can. Are we going to get struck for this, maybe? I don't know, but let's try it out.
Sure.
So we'll start the cam. Should we play it?
Sure.
Okay. So this is Cats in Tubes. Do we need sound on it? I don't know. Let's try. Kittisaurus. The tube keeps getting smaller. Look at that. It's like a cat wiener. Nope. Anyway. We'll not play the whole thing, but I'll link it. How about that?
Yeah, that whole page, I looked at it yesterday a little bit, and it's just a bunch of cat things to do, just little challenges and kind of like projects or whatever. And so, like I said before, those cats must be the happiest cats in the world because there's always something new and interesting every day.
Yeah. Yeah, and I felt guilty yesterday, so I played laser pointer with my cats for about half an hour because my cats are so damn bored they're ready to kill themselves. They just wish they had that opposable thumb and forefinger to operate that gun with. Yep. Kittisaurus. Anyway, if you're depressed, just go ahead and watch it. We got that from Top Dog, so That was
No,
no.
you got it from me. I'm the one who found it.
Oh, we got it from you. Okay, what did we get from Top Dog? Didn't he have some cheery videos? I can't remember.
Yeah, he did. But I can't remember the names of them. They were based on some game or something.
Okay, so you're the one that saved my life yesterday. Oh, by the way, I watched Ghostbusters, the new one with my sons. And while
Did you
it
go out
was
to the theater with it, or
no, fuck no. Are you kidding? We're not never going outside.
you
again.
just pay for it? Yeah, I've been so tempted to just watch it on live stream, even though it's like $20.
Yeah,
But I'm going to see if I can hold out till the price goes down.
yeah. It was extremely sentimental, but it should have been because that was a classic, and you have to pay tribute to it.
Right.
They did a pretty good job of paying, but they had a cast of characters, and the kids were as excellent as they were in Stranger Things. So they picked some really good young actors.
Well, good.
They just knocked it out of the park. It was pretty cool. So very entertaining.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, I was trepidatious about watching it. I thought it would be a disaster, but it turned out to be really good.
Well, when I do decide to watch it, I can now watch it with less trepidation.
Less trepidation.
Less trepidation.
Okay. Now, this guy, his name is Dr. Gene Kim. Does anybody know who this guy is? He came up on my suggested list of things to watch. I have no idea why.
Well, I know that either Vice Rhino or one of our YouTube network content creators who evaluate and criticize what people say about different things. I've seen him critiqued, but I've never seen a full video of his until today, and I will never forgive you.
So he claims to have a doctorate, UC Berkeley. I don't know what it's in. And
well, no, he claimed what I don't know what you saw, but the only thing I could see associating him with Berkeley was just that he went to Berkeley. I don't know what he got his doctorate in. It could have been in from that PBI, which is probably some sort of Bible Institute.
Yeah, well, he's got some notable videos here. Let's see if I go Chrome full. He's got one, Microchips and the Mark of the Beast, and I think that's where he talks about the one in the upper right. That's where he talks about his degree, I think, in the beginning of that. But Microchips and the Mark of the Beast, what do you think that one's about?
Doesn't that get you in big trouble on YouTube? Doing stuff like that?
Okay, we'll cover that. He's a clever guy. This is a clever guy.
So he disguises it somehow. Yeah.
Let's play.
Well, he did flash some sort of message during this video that they don't know how long it will be until YouTube kicks him off.
Yeah.
So please go to this particular platform. So
and I encourage everybody to report this guy. Okay,
call it candy, okay? Let's call it candy for some of you who know what I'm talking about. What they're worried about is this favorite candy of theirs, okay, is going to work out very ineffectively, okay? So they're worried about that this candy over here won't work very effectively. So then, because the candies won't.
Do I have to slow him up, or should we let him roll at full speed, or at 1.5?
I can keep up with it, and I really prefer him just to get it over with as quick as he can.
Okay.
Work anymore due to Omicron. Here are some of the following articles that shows the major concerns about this. Title of the article from Associated Press is WHO warns that new virus variant poses very high risk. That's the title of their article. They're going to keep adding one more. Trust me, this is not the end. Yes, that's right. You need another candy, all right? You need another piece of candy so that you can keep going. All right, that's what people predicted about this. They said that this candy right here, that, trust me, it's not going to be enough. They're going to add more, and guess what? They added more, So 3 times the charm, all right? 3 times the charm. So we believe that the rapture is happening soon, and if we believe that stuff like these are precursors to where the Antichrist is going to try to act like a savior and come in very soon, then this thing is going to continue through the tribulation then. Now, you might say, why is that? Because of Revelation chapter. Look at Matthew 24 first. Let's look at Psalm 78, actually. All right, that's the best place to start. That way we can cover the context. Psalms chapter 78. Notice what the Bible says at verse 49. Psalm 78, 49. He cast upon them the fierceness of his anger, wrath and indignation and trouble, by sending what? Evil angels among them. So this is not about the children of
Oh, sky break. Okay. Well, let's see. Let's go here next.
What did God give to Egypt, according to Psalm 78? A plague, right? But this plague is considered to be pestilence. But notice that if we look at all of this here, all right, if you look at all of this and you're going to follow along, pestilence, this one is also another word, and it is assimilated with death. When God talks about people dying, sometimes it can be normal death, but at other times you're going to notice that it has to do because of disease or pestilence. You can agree that something like this has to prepare for the Antichrist to come. That's important to understand. That's why this guy is important. It is tough.
I don't know if he wanted it to come out that way. But anyway.
Tied to prophecy then. It is tied to prophecy. So look at Matthew chapter 24. Look at verse 5. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many. That's the answer.
Let's go for
why is this? All right, look at the steps here. All right, verse 8 is the fourth horseman. Verse 3, let's go backwards here. Verse 3 is the third horseman.
Okay.
And you need a, and they have, and
I want you to follow his logic here. Okay. He says, follow his logic. Try to follow his logic.
All right, look at the steps here. All right, verse 8 is the fourth horseman. Verse 3, let's go backwards here. Verse 3 is the third horseman, famine, right? Right? Verse 5, right? Verse 5 is the third horseman, famine. Verse 3 is the second horseman, which is wars, right? Blood being shed. All right, and then verse 2 is the Antichrist, right? The first horseman, right? Okay, so look at this. Death, in order for death to come out, look at the sequence here. Antichrist has to come out first. So whether we like it or not, this thing here has to tie to this. You might say, why does it tie to this guy? Because until this guy comes out, then this guy can come out. So Antichrist's New World Order has to come out and stabilize. So this ties to that one, all right? Now, following that logic here, all right, remember, what's the order right here for the fourth horseman?
Did you follow that logic? Okay, you go for the eighth verse, and then there's the third verse, and then the fifth verse, and then did you follow that?
No, he's not. I don't know what pattern he's following. Maybe it's some non-linear form of progression that I've never heard of. But no, when you go in terms of first plague, second plague, third plague, or whatever, no. Of course, he may be concentrating more on Revelation. Where it may be more, I don't know.
Jefferson followed that logic. The arithmetic of insanity.
Well, it's conspiracy logic, you know.
Okay, now here's where it gets good. Okay, we got Omicron, right? He's really coming around to the point.
I wonder with the others. Now, before I cover those other horsemen, let me tell you something extremely interesting about Omicron that some of you probably know or some of you didn't know. But believe it or not, where people are, a lot of them are focusing their anger and their blame on one of these big names. It's a very big name, and obviously people know. What was he most famous for, obviously? We know that he was most famous for this one, right? Okay, you know what was funny? Is that
here we go.
You go back to the 1990s. This guy, Microsoft released a game called Omicron.
Whoa!
Now,
boy, there's conspiracy there.
Oh, there's got to be a link there.
Scary about this when you go to this game. You know what this game is about? All right, now there's people who get a ball of totalitarian.
Okay, but they spelled it with a K, and the reason they did that is because the Illuminati. Apparently, the Illuminati has to send messages to each other by creating games. And giving them to the public, but they have to disguise the messages so that the public doesn't understand the message, right? So the Illuminati does not know about the U.S. Postal Service or email or telephones or fucking Pony Express or any of those methods of communication. So they had to release this game to foreshadow Omicron, and it's like, but So they changed it to a K because nobody's smart enough to figure out that that's Omicron with a C, right?
Right.
Because,
yeah, they changed the spelling so to fool all the
it
people
fooled
listening.
me. Well, it fooled me because I didn't know about this until I started listening. Yeah, I'm still fooled. It's like, oh my goodness. And
current setup, they claim, or they see it that way, right? So they see it that way with everything going on with Omicron and a lot of diseases happening. Now, the thing about these people, when they get upset about that, it's so funny where they see elitists or globalists behind the scenes controlling people's life. And some people, they go as so far as to say devils or demons behind the scenes who would try to use situations like this to build up this kind of kingdom in the future. It is interesting. You know what this game is about? It is about a some kind of government setup called Omicron, where devils were disguising to be the authorities in power and controlling these people like slaves. So one of these beings or characters in the game start to speak out. In this game, one of the characters spoke.
Oh, okay. Enough of that one.
Yeah.
With the scary prediction, then you'll find it very easily. But let's look at the third horseman, famine. I wonder if this might be the case. Well, believe it or not, I'm going to quote you even liberal sources. So even liberals are saying this, okay? This is not some kind of right-wing Christian side. No, I'm going to even show you the liberals. They'll even have to acknowledge this.
Okay, so now he talks about food shortages during the pandemic. And he makes the case that this is the horseman, the famine, right? So that's next. So where else does he go here?
Has food production gone down?
No, I think
because I always thought it was because of shipping issues, logistics issues.
He cites some articles where they're talking about, there's going to be all these missed meals and all this stuff, and 300 million more people across the world are going to go without food because of all this shit. So anyway, next, I don't know what he's talking about. Hey,
prices are going to go high, right? Food is going to get low. Look at that one at Revelation chapter 6.
Prices are going to go high. So then he has a Bible passage where basically the barley is some 1 shekel or 2 shekels or something.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know. You probably know
inflation
that
or pricing.
The Bible foretold of inflation during the pandemic.
Let's think about this one. How about the second horseman? If we were to go over here, what about the second horseman war? Will it be that bad? Well, yeah, it's actually going to be that bad. The reason why is this. When we look at things going on with Russia, for example, right? Tense relationship.
Okay.
Because it's a red horseman, that it's going to represent two groups. It's either going to be something that's communist or something that relates to Muslim. And actually, I taught you in the Gog and Magog war at Revelation 20, that's exactly what's going to be. It's going to be Russia, and then it's going to be a lot of the other Muslim nations. So why doubt Revelation 6, verse 4, especially when you look at current events? Those are the two main groups you're looking at. Anything that has to do with communist ties, so you can think about Russia, China, etc. Anything that would have to do with the Muslim populace, or mostly the dominant religion of the countries which are Islam. Because look at right here in verse 4, you see the symbolism. This red horseman, and there went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another. And there was given unto him a great sword. Notice right here that this guy's color is red, like the communists back then. That's why they had the Red Scare. Red was their color. Notice.
Okay, the communists back then, is he talking about the Bible?
Like they were the communists during Bible days.
During Bible days, yeah, they had a red flag. So,
which was actually the early church in the book of Acts. So I don't know, because they shared everything.
Well, what about the red Republicans?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
That's a potential problem.
Yeah, he didn't catch that one. But so I looked it up, and actually the red flag was the red flag has been a number of different countries, and there's some indication that it meant the blood of the workers or something like that, or that's why they used red. But they probably just chose red as a color, so that's why we call communism Reds, right? And that was popularized in the 50s and 60s. And I'm pretty sure that it wasn't popularized in biblical times, but somehow the prophecy knew that they were going to be called Reds and that Republican states were going to be red, I guess. I don't know. I always get those confused. But anyway, so, okay, the big one. So he talks about the big one.
Now, the big one is this. The big one is the Antichrist now. Let's go back here. Are we this close, Pastor?
Oh, this logic is
when
great.
Barack Obama came out, everyone was like seeing so many patterns, and they were very, 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 very convinced. Then years passed by, and then now we're wondering who might be the Antichrist later on. And it is very interesting on how close we are. Now, we do know one clue about the Antichrist.
Now I had a friend who's an atheist sit down and at lunch with me and say, "Did you know that some people think Obama is the Antichrist?"
And the atheist should say, "What? Who the hell
And
cares?"
I said to him, "No, he just happens to be a black guy."
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with.
He's the non-white.
Yeah,
rather than the Antichrist.
That was around way back when he was in office, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they were saying that kind of stuff back then. Yeah.
But how he just slid over that. But now he's got the real Antichrist figured out here. So
one of the clues, and this is what I believe in, and this is what the early Christians and the Great Awakening revivals and the Reformation believed in as well. And Revelation 17 even points that out. The Antichrist is going to be tied to Rome. So then we're looking at the Pope, right? Well, Newsmax article title, Vatican preps for conclave as Pope is dying.
So in first century, that's what they meant is the Pope, right?
No.
The Pope was pretty popular back around.
Yeah, but there was this whole country based, in Rome, this whole empire. So it's kind of weird. It's kind of weird. They really have to take flights of fancy.
But he's got some just inescapable logic here.
I know. These are all the evangelical fundamentalists, dispensationalists, King James only tropes.
Here it is. No. Okay, this is for donations. Okay.
If Buddy Boy right here, who loves candies and recommends and gives out candies to a lot of children who become subject to that one.
All right.
If this guy's the one that comes out next after the Pope, then think about this. We already have the precursor set up. And if we're seeing how many, the title.
Did you hear that whooping?
Yeah, they're whooping because the Pope is the Antichrist or something like that. Yeah, when I was as far back as like when I was just out of college, I had a security job at a bank, temporary, while they were doing some construction, and the construction foreman came in and talked about their wonderful Bible study, that they have on Wednesday nights, and they're talking about prophecy, and he looked at me real serious and went, the Catholic Church, it's the Antichrist. And it's just one of those tropes that just keeps just floating and working its way into all sorts of different churches.
Right. Okay, then he goes on and he talks about how there's an article he found where they're claiming that they need more genomics. They need to track more people's genetics. And it gets into this big thing. They're stealing your privacy and they're setting it all up. And then there's going to be one world leader who's the Pope, and he's going to decide to kill you at some point. Let's see.
Yeah.
Like right here, I think he does the kill sign.
How are you going to get the whole world to kill these people? Think about that. All right. This is going to be probably a little eye-opening. All right. Go to Revelation 20 while I tell you this. All right. Go to Revelation.
If they're really stupid, we may want to kill them, but we're not really going to kill them. Right. We just want to. It's just kind of a natural thing to want to kill something that's really stupid. Anyway.
Revelation 20 while I tell you this. Okay. Think about this. This is something that's a little bit eye-opening to me. Now, I'm going to say, as a hypothetical thought, food for thought, all right? This is not doctrine, but this is a very good food for thought, okay? How are you going to get rid of these people? Until you get people today who don't follow with the current system and order, and you build up so much angst and anger against them. But how are you going to do that today? There is one way, and you know one way how you can do that. These people violate my peace and my safety. They will. Yeah,
you're idiots. You're trying to kill us. Okay, and then he starts talking about the Omicron and how it's going to end up at Omega. And Jesus used Omega. So Jesus used the Greek lettering system to refer to himself. I am the Alpha and the Omega. I think it was I am the first and the last.
Yeah.
They changed to Alpha. But anyway, so
they translated Alpha and Omega to first and last because that's what he meant by it.
Yeah, but I mean, this is obviously a conspiracy because of this, right?
Very
Yeah.
interesting here. They called it Omega, and I don't know why they could have chosen many different languages. Why Greek?
Why Greek?
Who's they?
The
scientists. Yeah. Well, that's just the way they do it. That's the way there was a whole system of dealing with microbiome for decades. I mean, come on.
Why Greek? Why Greek?
Why Greek?
Yeah, because it's going to end up at Omega, which is Jesus. So wait a minute. So the scientists have a conspiracy, and they chose Greek, so it ends up as Jesus. So it ends up fulfilling biblical. I don't quite understand his reasoning here. That's kind of where he's going. You got somebody else, Scott. I just want you to know that, Scott.
Yeah. Okay. I had to go mute because of the dang dog.
Play on words, and that's why he mentioned that. I don't know. Look at Revelation chapter 22, though. It is very interesting that he says at Revelation chapter 22, 21 verse 6. And he said unto me, it is done. I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. I will give unto him that is a thirst of the fountain. Go this way as well. And remember, globalists and those power, sometimes they like to hide their messages in the words, right? Or symbols.
Omicron.
Oh, we lost the sound.
Could they be laughing at us?
Oh, there we go.
That when we keep telling you so much stuff, you will believe us and you will follow us.
So Omicron, if you rearrange it, it's moronic. How about that shit?
All right, so tonight I'm going to be talking.
Sorry. Okay.
But we know it's like alpha, beta, gamma, and then they skipped a couple because the names were just problematic. And then you go to Omicron. It's a sequential iteration system.
Okay. So I would not have included that, but this motherfucker has 316,000 subscribers, and he got 165,000 views on that video. You tell me that we're not in trouble. We are in fucking trouble.
Yeah, exactly. Why? It's like, how do they become so fucking like lunatic? Like this guy is just off the wall. Like
he's an absolute lunatic. And it's just, oh my God, it's just another example of the lunacy of these.
Of Christianity. Like what religion? Yeah. And this is another example of, this is why I am an anti-theist.
Yeah.
Like there's just so much of that. There's so much harm. You can just go on and on and on. Yeah.
It's a slippery slope. Once you allow for miraculous thinking and supernatural things, I mean, it's a slippery slope.
Yeah.
Mad scientists plotting to take over the world.
And let's just put it in real terms. He's trying to create a brand. The kind of brand he wants is some variant. There's that variant word of dispensationalism along the lines of like John Hagee and Jesus, the Return of Christ and all that. And he's grabbing things out of the headlines. And what you always preach to people's insecurities and conspiracy theories too. And so he's got all that bundled up in a package, and that's the package he's trying to sell to people.
Yeah. So, where was I going to go with that? Okay. I don't know. I'm not sure. I had something to say, but I had no idea what the hell it was. I forgot. Oh, no, I know what it was. We got some new people in the chat. We got Dean Kruger, I think. I haven't seen before. Chromany Clouds. And Mac the Human, I'm pretty sure, has been here before. But and we have that Andrew Cumming character. I don't know. I don't trust him.
Some outlier there. Yeah.
And we have our buddy Cafe. Cafe says we're conspiracy theorists too.
Oh my God, Cafe, what is wrong with you?
Yeah, we conspire against God, right?
Oh my God, there's no such thing as God, and you know it, Cafe. Just
yeah.
Take another toke, anyway.
yeah. Take another sniff or whatever. However the fuck you take that shit? Yeah, you smoke that stuff. Or how do you do the mushrooms? Do you smoke it? I don't know. I've never.
No, you eat them.
You eat them. Okay.
Yeah. Have another hit of fresh air. I don't know if you guys know that song. It was by a band in the think it was like in the 60s, who was really good. And then the lead singer went off the deep end with drugs and they never got world famous. So I don't know. What was that band? Why do I keep forgetting that band? Anyway, I digress. So, and we got Sal Cordova. So Sal,
there's a couple more lunatics. Yep.
Yeah. Real lunatics.
Yeah.
American loons. He made the American loon list.
American loon, yep. Yeah.
I think that entry needs to be updated some.
That what?
That entry in that article, it doesn't.
Oh yeah.
It's from 2010.
Yeah.
Yep.
But
Add to the resume that he almost got arrested at his church. What else?
yeah, or that he joins a church and then bad mouths it, starts secret whisper campaigns and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, but I just want to point out he says that we're obsessed with him, right? And I think it's mutual.
Yeah.
He keeps bringing me up.
Call me names or whatever, but not on my YouTube channel, brother. Set up your YouTube channel and have at it howl on your channel. And I know there's a YouTube channel that just adores me. I think I've given that YouTube channel incredible life because I'm the featured guest every day.
Oh, he says this. Let's see here. Am I at 5? God, oh my God, we're buffering.
So today we'll be talking a variety of topics. I'll be answering some emails and some comments in the comics comment section, and I could call it the comic section.
Apparently, he just called you the comic section.
Yeah, I've probably lost 100 subscribers because I've just thrown them off the channel.
So
I called them.
So he's blocked 100 people. Is that what he's saying? That he's blocked 100 people that would disagree with him.
Yeah.
And that's why if you look at his comments, there's only people that agree with him.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yep.
Yeah. But then he
wants to create an echo chamber.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. He talks about me a little bit, and then he does this.
I just had to vent a little bit about why I don't deal with certain critics. I just don't have time. I certainly don't have time for high school dropouts who burned out their brains on drugs and alcohol, and they think they know better. I'm just sorry. I don't have time for that. I will talk to people who are scholars. I mean,
it's taking forever to pause. My Google's running a little slow today. We're probably not going to be able to do too much. But anyway, so thank you.
Get Google on the shop.
Yeah. So here we go again. Okay, because I've been very open about my drug addiction and my alcoholism, and somehow, and I've been and I make a joke of my being a high school dropout because I got a GED before I went to college, which was a little bit of a different path. And I say, oh, I'm a high school dropout because it's funny. And so he brings that up, right? And then, of course, I'm burnt out. Okay. I'm burnt out on drugs and alcohol. So obviously Sel is so much smarter and he knows so much more about genomics than I do. And and this is just him being a goddamn coward and kind of a stinky person to bring that up.
Let's just take this and kind of turn it around. What if he had a Christian on there who studied the Bible a lot, but dropped out of high school and did a lot of drugs, which is half the quote unquote testimonies of Christians out there that you hear in evangelical circles. Yep. Okay, so are we justified then for
calling them burnouts
and high school dropouts and so on and so or just like most Christians then would turn around and want to look at the things they've accomplished with their lives after they quote unquote got saved or got away from the drugs and maybe got their GED and then started taking steps to educate themselves. That would be seen as virtuous. But what Sal seems to be doing is the opposite of virtuous, because now somebody who's not in the tribe or camp that he's in, who didn't graduate high school, who had to deal with drugs and recover from drugs, is now not worth dealing with because of that. Because he's really naming that he's not qualified because he's a high school druggie dropout burnout.
Yeah,
that's just not being equitable or fair.
That would apply to Stephen King
Mm-hmm.
and a whole bunch of other people who have, addiction in their past and they've overcome it. And yeah, it's just a really shitty thing for him to do. And obviously I'm getting under his skin. And the reason I'm getting under his skin is later on in this video, he again brings up, I'm not sure entirely where it is. I think is it at 116 where he brings up Sternberg? So there's this thing about signs and lines, and maybe we should have Andrew in for that discussion.
Yeah,
but I don't think I'm going to play more of this. My Chrome. Well, let's see if we can find it.
So yeah,
Sternberg-Collins paradox.
Okay, that's
Sternberg-Collins paradox.
I'm sorry, it's taken forever for this thing to pause, so I can't do it right away.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah,
the Sternberg. Go ahead.
So talking about, the addictions and things like that, when I look at a lot of these YouTube channels, especially SFT's channel and some of these other Christian channels, you see people talking about, their addiction issues that they've had, and they've come to Jesus from that. I mean, it's just loaded with that on YouTube. You see that? I mean, I was just reading all kinds of comments, long discussion just yesterday on a YouTube channel about that. So it's it's huge in Christianity. I mean, they come to Jesus when they're down and out, right? I mean, that's just a very typical thing. So
yeah, there's one part here I want to play. This is kind of interesting because there's a little schism in the community that I just uncovered here, and I thought it was kind of cool. So let's see if I can get back to where
a Christian community has schismed.
Yeah, they schismed. Okay, listen to this.
Wow, I've never heard of that before.
Okay, I think I got the right bookmark here.
I'm sure you've got something very intelligent planned. I just want to point out a couple of things. First of all, this is why, even though years ago, Hovind, and I'm going to get myself in trouble, but whatever, functioned very well as a popularizer. Since his stay in government hands, and even realistically before then, he should never have been looked to as a expert on science. He wasn't, and he was treated as such. It's one thing he was a good popularizer, and that's all well and good, but he didn't know science very well, and the people he trusted as sources were largely cranks. Now, I understand his desire to be skeptical of the evolutionary community. Like I get that. They tell lies all the time, so I understand. But what he did was throw the baby out with the bathwater, and just dump the whole thing instead of being willing to put in the work and sort through the good and the bad. And by the way, anybody who is taking him seriously now, I have zero respect for. And you can repeat that to certain creationists on YouTube. I don't care, because the man is disqualified from public ministry in any way, shape, or form.
Okay. So I think that was a shot at standing for truth, which I thought was interesting.
Oh, I missed that. Is that what he was referring to?
Yeah. Because standing for truth has Hovind on his channel all the time, and
Yep.
So there's a real split between Cell and SFT now. That's been going on for quite a while. In fact, I think him and SFT broke up at the same time me and Cell broke our romance up. We were pretty close for a while. So really close, I mean, really close. We were really close.
Yeah.
I won't say anymore. But anyway, so there's that. And then he goes on about, okay, so there's a thing. there's these retroviruses called signs, short, what is it, interspersed nuclear elements or whatever. I always forget the damn acronym. But anyway, so signs basically, and you'll find them in rats and you'll find them in mice, right? And so he goes on and he explains, he's got this entire spiel that he does about Jane Eyre, I think, and he changes Jane to Mary. And if you have one book and you copy it, you copy 2 books from it, and everywhere where it says Jane, you change it to Mary, and in the other book you leave it the same, then basically there's no way to randomly change that. So you couldn't randomly change every sign basically to something else in these 2 copies. It would have to be intelligently designed, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So may have to unpack this a little bit better than that. Have you heard about this, Andrew? This line and sign thing in rats?
The what?
Signs in rats.
Like sine, cosine?
No, short interspersed nuclear elements.
Oh, no, unfortunately.
Okay. Anyway, so Sal Cordova made a big deal of this about 1.5 years ago, and I talked to him, and I completely he mentioned it on Standing for Truth channel, and this looked, when I first heard about it, I thought, this looks really bad for the idea of evolution, right? Because we've got let me see if I can put this up.
Did you hear him talking about some guy measuring the size of penises on mice? Did you hear that part of it?
No.
Yeah, that was in there.
And it's
oh yeah, he went on about that.
Yeah. Okay, so let's try to explain this. Okay, so we got a common ancestor. Why is that not showing? God, is everything showing up late or something?
No.
Okay.
White? No, that's
It looks purple.
you're good. Yep.
No, I mean late. Okay.
Oh, late. Okay.
Right. Okay, so we have rats, right? So they assume they have a common ancestor, right? So rats have a sign type, say S2. So they have basically signs are retroviruses that duplicate themselves and insert themselves in another part of the genome. Okay, signs actually, it's a little more complicated than that, but we're not going to get into that. Okay, so in the rat, we have this S1 type, and across the entire genome of the rat, we'll end up with a certain frequency of these signs, right? And then there'll be a bunch right at this particular, this is like numbering the genome from 0 to, whatever billion. Okay. So there'll be certain spots where these signs pop up a whole lot in rats. Okay. And these signs are of type 1 in rats. Okay. Well, then when they look in mice, they don't have type 1, they have signs of type 2. Okay. So obviously something happened here to the signs. So there was a mutation in the signs so that we ended up with type 1 in rats and type 2 in mice. Okay. So let me get a different color here. And everything is behaving very slowly for me today, and I don't know what's going on. Anyway, okay. So they look at where these signs are, and there's a whole bunch of them. There's like hundreds of them that pop up in rats. Well, then they find out that in mice, okay, they have the same peaks roughly. Some of them are smaller, and but they're pretty much in the same area, but they're different. So if S1 and S2 are different, then what it looks like is that something had to intelligently change it for every single peak here that we have, right? Does that make sense yet? You have questions?
No, we're following along. Keep going.
Yeah, following.
Yeah.
Okay. So that is their argument against or for intelligent design and against evolution, basically. That it couldn't possibly have popped, these signs would have because they're all changed. Every copy is changed. It's just like every place where it says Jane in a book got changed to Mary. So you would have to go in there. I mean, it couldn't be random because there'd be Mary all over the place, right? We'd have signs all over the place, but no, they popped up at one spot. But I explained to Sel after I did a little bit of research on this that, and let me get another color, that at these spots right here, okay, there is a reason why signs insert at certain spots on the genome.
Right.
So it doesn't matter whether it's sign 1 or sign 2. They're always going to preferentially insert on these spots.
Right.
And that blows their theory, and that blows Dr. Sternberg's theory right out of the water. And I explained that to Sel 1 year ago. Then he did not mention it until yesterday. And then he brought it up again. So it occurs to me that creationists, when you refute them, they wait for 1 year.
Yep.
Because they think everybody forgot. And then they start repeating the same garbage. Okay, so then I went back and I started looking for information on that. And I found this blog. And I didn't notice right away that it was St. Cordova that wrote the blog. And I noticed that Joshua Swamidas refuted him in 2016 on this very same issue in the very same way.
Yeah.
And this is where he got the name Slimy Cell on this blog, because one guy commented, he said, you've lost 99% of evolutionary biologists have lost faith in you over this, right? Because of this bullshit that you're promoting. So anyway, it's just another example of how they continually misrepresent complex things like the insertion of signs. Like signs, I think, in insert when you have, I think, 3 T's or maybe 3 A's or something, or a sequence of A's. So if there's a part in the genome that has a certain signal, they'll preferentially insert there. So no matter what species you have, you're going to end up with that, with roughly the same pattern. Rats and mice are fairly similar. So that's how that works. So then
I'm assuming there's like a biochemical reason behind that, right?
Yeah. It's like, okay, you got your nucleus and then you got your cell, right? And let me see if I can do this. Well, something called a line, okay, it's transcribed in the nucleus from the DNA, and that is a kind of retrovirus. And the line creates mRNA, okay, and that is exported out of the nucleus, where we go from mRNA and it gets translated into a couple of proteins. Okay, so we got a couple of proteins. Those get imported back into the nucleus. They grab a hold of that line and they reverse transcribe it back into the DNA. And that's how they multiply themselves, right? So that's what lines do, large interspersed nuclear elements. Okay. But signs have lost those proteins, right? Actually, I should put signs in here. So the signs don't have those proteins anymore. So, but what they do is they commandeer the lines to reproduce themselves, so the signs keep getting reproduced. But anyway, there's a whole bunch of signaling that goes on as to where this thing gets retranslated back into the DNA, and it depends on certain sites.
And just to clarify, how exactly do these translated proteins hijack the line segments in the DNA?
There's that. I don't know what all the mechanisms are. They recognize the same proteins that recognize a line will recognize the sign because it has the same markers in it, even though it doesn't have all the information for the proteins. So they commandeer the line's replication mechanism because, the proteins are floating around in the nucleus and they'll run into sign fragments and line fragments. And either one will trigger them to translate it back into DNA. And it is, there's the complexity gets pretty thick as to how all this happens, but that's basically how it happens.
So they're basically taking like RNA fragments in the cell and
right, yeah,
turning them back into DNA and inserting them.
Yep. So there's RNAs inside the nucleus, and they're floating around, and they have markers in them at both ends, and the signs and the lines both have these markers, and the signs have lost a whole bunch of information in the middle here, but they still get replicated. Now, in the human genome, I think there's about 50,000 signs and lines, or more, or 500,000 or something. There's a whole bunch of them, but only about 100 lines are still functional. The rest of them have been mutated so that they no longer work. They're just kind of like remnants that are laying around in the DNA. But 100 of them are still actively basically changing your DNA. They're expanding your DNA in your cells. And of course, only a little bit of that gets into the germline. So that's why we don't go extinct rapidly from this shit. But it's also why if you live long enough, you will die of cancer or something, because eventually one of these things will fuck up your DNA to the point where something goes wrong if you replicate enough. But
and do you know if like a similar mechanism is how so-called jumping genes kind of multiply themselves in the genome, or is it different?
That's the other thing. Okay, when it comes to lines, okay, there's the line itself, right, which is right here, and it's got little packets of proteins in here, right, that they get transcribed, and it's got some signals on the end. Well, when the lines jump in, they tend to take a piece of DNA with them, and they tend to insert themselves in areas of the genome that are transcribed, and sometimes they cause the area of DNA to flip, so it end up in reverse. Sometimes they cause duplications. Sometimes they cause deletions. So there's a whole bunch of magic that goes on. So these lines and signs could well be a means to genetic diversity, right?
Right, mutations.
Yeah, because they create a lot of much more complicated mutations that we're still trying to figure out how they work.
Well, thanks for explaining that, because I don't know if I understood retrotransposition as clearly as I did before.
Yeah, I eventually, hopefully, we'll get into it if I ever get through the basics,
right,
of everything else, because there's a whole lot to it, and
sure.
I can recommend some really good papers and good illustrations that explain the classification of basically retrotransposons or transposons in general. And there's a whole bunch of different types, and they've been around apparently for 300 million years in our genomes. And they go back, and there's the creationists have really, really used this information and convoluted it to support their argument. But when you look into it, you'll find so much complexity in what's going on that just about anything goes, right? So I mean, anything they come up with as a slam dunk for intelligent design is usually bullshit.
So are you talking about creationists are doing this with this particular sign line example, or is that something that Sal, as a creationist, has latched upon, but
no,
all
they
the
all
creationists do it with different things?
Yeah, they all do it.
Gotcha.
This Richard Sternberger now, he has about 50 papers published, and he seems to be an actual real PhD researcher, but he went to work for ICR at some point. He hung his shingle up and turned into a intelligent designer, and I don't quite know the whole story behind him, but he has a lot of papers that look to me to be very good papers. So I haven't quite he's an intelligent designer, not a young earth creationist. So I don't know what his theory is and stuff, but he's not anybody that I would not take seriously, right? But when he came up with this, he was just plain wrong. He either misrepresented the information, or he had not looked far enough into it to realize what's really going on between the rats and the mice. Because there's a very good reason for these peaks to match up. And Sal shows a diagram somewhere in his video. eventually. I can't remember exactly where, and on his blog. But I've got a whole bunch of links for that, and that would almost amount to a show in itself if we were to do it over. But if you go back and look at me and Cell's conversations, I hammered him on this very early. As soon as he said it on SFD, I went and I researched it and found the reason why rats and mice have these peaks that match, sort of thing. Maybe I can find that blog. I don't know.
Yeah, it makes sense because like the genetic changes are entirely random. They're stochastic, but like there are mechanisms of like the difference between transitions and what's the other one called? Translocations? No, let's see. I'm thinking of what's the kind of mutation called where a purine turns into a pyrimidine or vice versa? I forget.
Oh shit! Let's see. That would be a.
I can't remember.
Oh, Andrew, that's the one thing we had you on for. Gosh,
Yeah.
one thing.
Yeah.
Well, like you know what I'm talking about. Like certain base pairs mutate into other base pairs at different rates. So like it kind of makes sense that larger mutations would happen in various spots in the genome at different rates, like different genes and different regions mutate at different rates. So I mean that doesn't make too much nonsense. I mean,
right. Yeah, that's the other thing is there's also purifying selection. If these signs insert themselves at the wrong point, you've got an unviable organism,
right?
And it's going to get purified. So for that reason, these things are inserted only where they're not going to kill the cell, right? Because killed cells don't reproduce,
right?
Okay, so here's the blog, and this is from September 23rd, 2016, and this is by S.T. Cordova. So the Sternberg-Collins paradox for non-random sign insertion. And when you look at, if you look at the comments down, okay, here's the graph, and they show the rat and the mice where the peaks are. And when you look at the actual peaks, they're pretty clear, but there's a lot of other variation going on here that, that isn't correlated. So, I mean, there's a lot more going on with signs and lines in, and right here, I think they show you the A plus T line. I think they're showing you the signal that caused. If you look at this paper, I think this paper actually talks about why that's the case. The paper is, let's see, oh God, I have it somewhere. But anyway, if you look at this article, and I will link this blog. There's just a ton of stuff where Swami Das gets into it and other people get into it. And it's pretty...
Mac human from the chat.
What's that?
Oh, Mac said he had to go. So thanks for joining us today, Mac.
Yeah, thanks, Mac. Yeah.
I also looked it up. They're called transversions. That's what I was forgetting.
Transversion, okay.
Yeah, transversion versus transition.
Yeah. Transversions when you go from a purine to a pyrimidine, right? Or vice
versa.
Yeah. Yep. So let me put that in there. But anyway, this is apparently he had some kind of a blog, The Skeptical Zone. Was that Cell's site? Or is this just where he posted? But somewhere in here, they made the comment that you've lost the respect of a whole lot of biologists. And I can't remember. I'm not entirely sure what all that was about. But anyway, I will link that. And there's a whole lot more to be discussed on this subject, but not today.
So how long has Cell? I mean, Cell's been attacking evolution and doing this garbage. How long has he been doing this? Do you know?
Since he was a teenager, I think.
Really?
If you listen carefully to his story, he started questioning evolution. I think he was raised anti-evolution, and then he almost switched over. I don't know. He tells the whole story. So
I knew that. But I mean, he's like kind of almost, would you say, devoted his life to it now, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he's almost
60 years old. You know?
Yeah, and he's got a lot invested in it, like now.
Yeah, he's still doing it.
Yeah.
Now I wonder, does anyone have like a recent statistic on how common, not necessarily young Earth creationism, but just evolution denial in general is in the U.S.?
I think it's dropped to around 48%, but it is high. Very high.
It's really high.
That's what I was afraid of.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's scary. I mean, that's scary. To
Yeah,
me.
well,
I mean, at least to me, it is.
If you look at political lines and you look at anti-vaxxers and anti-science people in general, it runs about 48%.
Hmm.
So we are really high. And like I say, that crazy crackpot that whose video we looked at, he's got 316,000 subscribers. And, if you have 316,000 subscribers, you can extrapolate that to the number of people that, do not.
Kent Hogan has thousands of subscribers, I'd bet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I put in the chat, has anyone seen the debate with him last night on SFT's channel?
Oh, no.
No. He had another one?
Yeah, it was between him and... I don't blame I honestly wanted to quit midway because he was just making so many basic geology mistakes, and this was stuff that I was learning in like my community college class on historical geology. So like if he's getting that wrong, then I can't imagine.
Yeah. Yeah, he is so bad. Well, even Emery Moyna points out how wrong he is, right? So I mean, and Emery Moyna is wrong on so many levels, and even he sees what crap Hovind is, and so does Cordova. So
well, I put in the chat last night that to someone else that the one thing I like about Hovind debates is before the debate has even started, you hear people talking about, oh, Hovind's gonna smash this guy, Hovind's gonna win. And I like that about Hovind debates because it just shows how everyone is so biased and has preconceptions regarding Hovind. So that's the one good thing about him.
Yep. So I wonder if I should open the room up, or what should we do?
I guess so.
Because
it's always good to have people come in and comment.
Yeah.
I saw that Sean Mock, or I hope I'm not mispronouncing his name, is in the chat. I met him on SFT's channel, so maybe he can join.
Who's he?
Sean from the chat.
Sean. Oh, Sean Mock. Okay, that's a new one too. So we have some new people here. So we have a lot of new people today. I should do this more often on Saturday, right? I don't know. Maybe we'll start doing a weather report on Saturday instead of shit show Friday. I don't know. I was ready to quit last week. I'm ready to take the channel down. Yeah, I'm ready to take the channel down about every 3 weeks. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm struggling with winter depression, or maybe I'm just struggling with the whole YouTube concept. I'm not sure.
Yeah, what Guitar Dog said, Hovind is a good debater, but he doesn't know what the heck he's talking about.
Yeah, that's it.
I totally agree.
That's the whole problem. If he had some material, and like I think Sel and Emery were talking about how he hasn't changed anything from like the 20s. So
yeah.
Hey, hi Ozzy. So
hey Ozzy.
Ozzy's here. Yep.
Good chat you guys had the other day.
Yeah, that was.
I want to get into the subject of that though.
Right. And I still disagree with Ozzy, and I disagree with the flavor of the whole attack, but I think it's much deeper than all that. But anyway, we're not going to get into it, right? We're not going to say the words.
Yep.
Natural selection.
Does Ozzy accept common ancestry?
What's that? Ozzy?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I was just making sure because I haven't met him before.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Okay. Yeah.
CJ's response.
Pretty smart guy. Anyone so much as mentions photo.
Yeah,
he's
Andrew. He's a very, very intelligent man. Andrew. Ozzy's a very intelligent man. So
Yes.
I wonder if he could join. I'd like to have a chat with him.
Well, I guess we need to put the chat link out,
Yeah.
huh?
I thought I put it out there.
Maybe you did.
I haven't seen it come up.
People
Are
have
you
been
working on
chatty
that?
today.
Are you working on that, Scott?
Yeah, I'm about to hit enter.
Yeah, I want to pin it at the same time.
By the way, that
Oh, there
first
it is.
time that the
Yeah.
dogs barked, and
You did-
that was when Gene Kim was talking about Omicron. That's when I got
Yeah.
my N75 masks delivered.
Ooh,
It's kind of ironic.
95 or 75?
Oh, it says 95. Uh-oh. Was that the wrong
Yeah.
kind?
No, that's the right kind.
Oh, okay. It's an N95.
Yeah, that's the right
It's
kind.
nice. It's not too obtrusive.
Yeah. Yep.
Kind of off topic, but like I watched a AIG news video recently, and like towards the end of it, what really kind of infuriated me was they were talking about, is climate change a big deal, and should we just put it in God's hands or something like that.
Oh my God. Yeah.
So there's that.
Yep.
But
Well, we
let's
should
not
put
get
it.
into too much of that.
Well, you know, I don't know why we keep planting crops. We should just put it in God's hands, you know, and stop planting things and like harvesting
Right.
food. We should just let God do it. I don't know. Yeah. Put it in God's hands. That's going to
another
work
interesting
out.
thing. The basic principles of agriculture are the same as the basic principles of genetics and evolution.
Yeah.
Almost
Yeah.
as if evolution is a useful theory.
Yep. On the first video that Sal did yesterday, they were talking about living fossils, and they were trying to make some kind of a point, but I would have to listen to it again because it was kind of convoluted. I'm not sure what the hell they were saying, but they were talking about these living fossil plants that were really disturbing for some reason.
It's a pop term, but I do think it is a pretty loaded term.
Yeah.
Oh, Speed, why don't you put up that timestamp that I gave you
Oh,
for Andrew? Let Andrew, I think, would really like that to listen to what's said. So you play it, speed it up a little bit, and you only have to listen to 1 minute of it from like 36 to, but I think you'll enjoy it a little bit, Andrew.
Oh
So he's
dear,
talking
I'm
a little
semi-afraid.
cosmology. So listen to
oh yeah. Okay.
what he has to say.
I'm
Okay.
intrigued.
Hang on a second here. I'm going to have to let me know if you can hear it because I clicked one of my switches and I don't know which one I clicked.
That would be very disturbing. It's like,
You're good.
did all those supernovas that we're seeing in the sky, are those just illusions of things that never happened? And it would raise, and one thing I really want to point out for young Earth creationists and what I call the young cosmos creationists, because the Seventh-day Adventists are a little bit agnostic on what the entire universe is.
Mm-hmm.
So I just wanted to say they're flavors of young Earth creationism. I'm a young cosmos creationist. And I will say up front, the problem of distant starlight has not been satisfactorily solved by the young Earth creationists. I'll tell you why. When it comes to the origin of life and the origin of major created kinds, we invoke miracles. And that's just easy to do. Accepted by faith. Any of you who've had answered prayers and you've experienced miracles in your life, it's not, it's not a big deal for you to invoke miracles. A lot of the challenges for the young cosmos and the young Earth creation models is we're actually trying to find naturalistic explanations rather than divine miracles. So we'll say the first creation of the planets, the stars, the life, miracle. But then after that, like the flood will be mostly naturalistic mechanisms, mostly the things that we can reconstruct using science. And then we're also trying to explain distant starlight using science.
So
do you see himself digging a hole for himself here?
Oh, yeah.
Do you see, I mean, like, okay, yeah, mostly miracles, but there were a few miracles, like he cracked the earth open like an egg. That was a miracle part, right?
I mean, I'm semi unsure how to feel about that, because I appreciate Sal being semi-honest there about the distant starlight problem, but also the fact that he's using miracles in conjunction with natural explanation. So
yeah.
how exactly am I supposed to respond to this?
I mean,
don't know.
He calls himself a scientist. I mean, come on. That is just
our
pathetic.
supernovas illusions.
Yeah, they're just illusions. We don't. Yeah,
Like,
we don't.
Wait, did he
those.
actually say that?
Yeah, that's
at
why
the
I
very
had.
beginning,
Yeah.
hang on a second. Okay, we'll play it again.
I knew he said something about that, but I
Listen.
didn't know he said supernovas are illusions.
Listen carefully.
Listen,
That would be very disturbing. It's like, did all those supernovas that we're seeing in the sky, are those just illusions?
that's it.
There you go. That's why I had
illusions.
Speed put that on. I figured you'd get a kick out of that.
Wow.
He thinks that they're just illusions. We don't. Yeah.
They're illusions.
Has anybody else noticed that Cell is as red as the devil?
Yeah, it's just the lighting. It's his camera, I think. I don't think it's.
Yeah, he's got a green screen going on there.
Yeah.
So yeah, he probably should have adjusted his lighting a little bit, but he looks. He kind of looks devilish to me. I don't know. Just me. I'm sorry.
Well,
I should have brought that up.
sorry,
That's
I
as
didn't
low as
get
him
it.
bringing up my drug addiction.
Sorry, I didn't
Right.
get a kick out of it as much as you hoped, David. I guess it wasn't as extreme a claim.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Yeah,
just
well,
thought that was.
It was an interesting one, though. I'll give you that.
Yeah, it is. Yep.
Claiming
So,
things
John-
that we've actually seen, humans have actually seen with their eyes in the past is just kind of weird. I'm still kind of reeling from that idea.
Well, because once again, to the idea that distant objects are illusions, you get into the whole conflict about, is God deceiving us? Is he the creator of lies, basically? And they don't like that.
That's the only
ahead.
issue they have. But why don't they just settle on miracles all the way down? I don't understand why
they'd have to.
It's like, I don't know. Anyway, we have a new person in the room.
Hey, Sean.
So Sean is.
Hey guys.
Hey. Hi. You're new, right?
Yeah. I've seen your streams fairly often, and I've been on SFT's chat room or chat streams quite frequently here lately, and
I'm sorry.
mostly just to ask a lot of questions and try to get people thinking. But me and Andrew have been trying to get in touch. He's wanting to email me, and hopefully he'll show up.
Yep.
Oh, I am here.
Yeah, you're there.
Oh, Rational Empiricist is Andrew Cumming.
Yes.
I just used a different stream name. Sorry about that.
Cool.
Yeah.
No problem.
It's nice to finally meet you in person.
Or in the voice, yeah.
So now you guys, you have private chat if you want to exchange any information. So
sure.
Okay. So I have nothing.
So, Sean, you said you're new to the community, or?
Well, I've been. I guess I gotta speak. I got family in the room.
Oh, okay.
And they don't know. Let's just put it that way.
Oh, okay. So
So,
gotcha.
But it's been a while. But since I've discovered YouTube content.
Well, if you don't want to talk about anything controversial, you can tell us what your favorite restaurant is, and
I'd rather talk about Kent Hovind. Or any of those guys. SFT and all those, yeah.
Are you familiar with?
You saw the debate last night, right?
Oh yes. And one thing that I like showing up in the chats, because I live in the deep south, and 80% of the people around here, if they're not, they are putting up appearances as fundamentalists, literalist, biblical theologians, or some sort of Christian. And so I get it all day long around work and family, so it's kind of an outlet.
Yeah.
to go in the chat.
So I only experienced that once because I live in Minnesota. I was watching a movie called Expelled by Ben Stein.
Oh
I
yeah.
don't know if you remember that, but I was in that movie and he was going on, with his routine, and the people were oohing and eyeing and laughing at certain points that were totally foreign to where I would have oohed and awed and laughed. And I looked around and I saw these shiny faced people, and I realized that I was not in Kansas anymore, that I was in an entirely alien group of people. And I got up and I left the theater because it freaked me out, because they were responding. They were responding so counter to the way I would have responded that I actually got afraid. Which is, it was a creepy feeling. It was a creepy feeling, but I think I was right in the midst of, somehow that movie filtered out, that was at the Mall of America. It filtered out all the Minnesotans that were fundamentalists, and it scared the shit out of me.
And then all that righteous indignation in one room is pretty heavy.
Right, yeah. And I thought if they found out that I wasn't, if I wasn't oohing and eyeing at the right spot, I was afraid they were going to hurt me.
Suddenly the lights would all be shining on each one's faces, and they'd have a torch or a pitchfork in one hand, and they'd be chasing you slowly. I mean, just walking.
It'd be like one of those early or mid 20th century movies where everybody's an alien but you, and they all of a sudden they all stand up and start looking at you, and you realize how fucked you are. That's where I was. Anyway,
for all intents and purposes, the claims of academic fraud in relation to evolution, when you get into the nitty gritty of them, they don't hold water.
Yeah.
Like all the cases, they were either for different reasons than, you just accept creationism.
Yep. Well, Richard Sternberg, we talked about him, with the signs and the lines and the rats and the mice. And he is one of the people that claims he was expelled because he allowed Myers to publish something. And so I think he may have even been in that movie. I'm not entirely sure if he was one of the ones. But he claims to have been expelled by the community. Anyway.
Real quick, Thomas wants to know who debated last night that we were talking about.
Kent Hovind. And who else?
Jackson Rowe.
Oh, okay. And Jackson Rowe. Let's see.
You mean Jackson Wheat?
No.
Rowe,
Different.
okay.
Yeah. Yep. I'll have to check that out. Let me see if I can pull that one up.
I don't think in a million years would Jackson Wheat debate Ken Hovind.
Yeah.
I doubt it.
Hey, they're standing in poop. I call them standing in poop lovingly. Does geology support creation? So what is Jackson Rowe's background?
I'm not sure, but he's gotten better over the last few debates, that's for sure.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I was about to say the same thing. He has gotten better last 2-3 debates for sure.
Yeah. So there it is. Kent Hovind versus Jackson Rowe.
I don't know if you remember, Sean, but like someone, I think it was Cool Jesus in the chat, brought up the ecological zonation idea and how if birds are found at the top, why aren't pterosaurs as well? And
yes.
He completely dodged that question.
Yes, it was a pretty big dodge.
Because they fly. Oh my God. Yeah. Their obsession with the Grand Canyon is interesting.
Right.
Yeah, that and Mount St. Helens.
So Tangelo says Sternberg is a brilliant guy. I've looked at his papers and I kind of agree. So I don't know what happened to him. I don't know where his brain got off the rails. But that happens. I don't know. Anyway. I'm going to have to look at his papers and see if I can find any signs of where he went off the rails. But now he works for Discovery Institute, I guess. How does that happen? I guess if you're into a particular kind of science like biology, if you just study biology and you study the complexity of the cell, and you have no idea how evolution accounts for that complexity, if you don't go that extra step, then the complexity overwhelms you, and you think, "Oh my God, this must be designed by some super intelligent man, pig, ape sort of thing that doesn't have a body." I don't know. I don't get it. I don't know. But if you look into the details, you can see how all of this happens. So I don't know. There's a lot of really good scientists that have gone down that road.
I think Mom has a question directed to you.
Ooh, do I get to play chat bingo now? Answers in atheism. Oh,
She's talking about a certain person, yeah.
yeah.
I said
Have at
please
it.
do.
Have at it. Have
Yeah,
at it.
That's exactly what I said. I said,
Let's
please do.
unleash secular pagan mom. Yep.
feels so affirmed, I'm sure.
Yeah. Oh, I better grab a snapshot of the chat before that happens. But
Oh,
whale evolution versus population genetics. Okay, on YouTube.
versus?
So yeah. There must have been a debate or something with Sternberg. I'll have to try to look that up. Yeah, I'm interested in that guy. He's an enigma to me. So, I don't know. Yep, here it is. So apparently he did not a debate, but like an 11-minute thing. Whale evolution versus population genetics, Richard Sternberg and Paul Nelson. I don't know what it is.
I'm just going to get one.
That's interesting.
Worth.
How the heck does whale evolution go against population genetics?
I know. So here we go.
The only thing I can gather from that title is that maybe it somehow contradicts some of the principles of population genetics. I don't know.
Oh my God.
That title is telling.
Yeah, look at this. Evolution is religion with 7 subscribers. Is that the one you meant? Of course, he may not be with us anymore, so I don't know if I can ask him a question.
If evolution is a religion, so is particle physics and pretty much the rest of science.
I don't know what they mean by religion exactly. It seems to me that they kind of like, what do they mean by religion? They mean something you have faith in? I don't think that describes religion.
Yeah, something like, yeah, they're misleading or misusing the typical definition of religion. But yeah, basically something you believe in or have faith in or hold to strongly.
Yeah, that
Right.
we worship it almost, right?
Right.
It's kind of part of that, yeah.
Now, here's a copy of that. So this one is, let's see.
Or that we worship Darwinism.
Yeah, some of them say that.
I don't know.
So you can worship an ism.
Oh, it's an excerpt. This is an excerpt from the film Living Waters, Intelligent Design in the Oceans of the Earth. I'll probably get a copyright strike if I play any of it. But
Yeah.
So anyway, I will link this in the chat. Let's see, so that people can take a look at it. Or in the description, rather. As I do.
So I guess I'll ask another thing to Sean. Are you still around?
Yeah,
Yep.
I'm still here.
Okay.
Oh, what was that?
I'm still here. Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, since you've kind of been around the SFT community a while, do you have any favorite talking points or arguments that you've heard? I guess.
I don't know if I have any favorite ones. Anytime they talk about evolution or geology. Those are the videos that I enjoy watching.
Right.
I think that it's difficult for their ideology to make it work, but they kind of cherry pick, and I try to go along with their cherry picking and use it against them in some of the questions that I pose. But I can't think of any specifics. And I've had a lot of dialogue with Doki Doki, and I haven't seen him around in a while.
Yeah, I haven't seen him in a while. Yeah, but I think that's a good method, though, like questioning them, trying to get why they think that, because once you start questioning that, then it becomes tricky to hold to it that firmly.
Yeah, I don't want to have a backfire effect.
Right.
I see that on a daily basis where I'm from, so I kind of get around it by asking questions, poking at what they say is true, trying to get more information out of it, because I think that most people, they have a vague sense of what they know, and they don't know how they know it, and I want to know how they know it.
Yeah, because if you just give them the science, it tends to make it even worse sometimes.
Yeah, and if they can figure out, if they can have a dissidence about a subject, and I poke at it enough, they can see it, and that's, I think, that's where you win.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Have you ever made any progress with any of them?
No, not the regulars. No.
Yeah, not the big folks.
Go ahead, Andrew.
Oh, yeah. I was just gonna say, like, another crucial thing is to make it clear that you're not challenging their faith, basically, that you're arguing about the science.
Yeah.
Because sometimes that kind of gets connected to their identity, I think.
And me personally, I'm as agnostic as anybody. However, I believe, evolution and all the sciences, and I have all the talking points of the sciences. But when they question my faith, I just tell them, I was a Christian. I still believe in God, but kind of partially, I'm just agnostic. I'm not sure.
Right. Yeah, because you can argue that.
Yeah, that kind of calms down the anger, or I guess the ire that they might have just by questioning them.
Right. Yeah, because you can argue about faith, but you can also, I think, argue about the science separately.
Yes.
Yeah.
At least a lot of people, that's what they've been doing. That's what they have methods of doing.
When I'm in the actual chat, or not the chat, the comments after the videos, I usually comment stating, I've heard it put around here amongst my Christian friends. I'm in the deep south of Georgia, by the way. Amongst my Christian friends, that there's the Bible and then there's creation. Those are the two books of God. And my talking point is always the creation is testable and observable. If it contradicts what Scripture says, then your translation may be incorrect. And that's how I go after the some of the really fundamentalist type in the comments.
Right, because, a lot of people see it, and a lot of people have seen it for centuries. I think that there's the book of nature, and then there's the book of the Bible, basically, of what to do and what not to do. And I think you can have those separate. It's difficult sometimes, which is why I don't tend to go into it, but, like, I do think they can be reconciled.
I have a question.
Sure.
For anybody, when I go to the SFT streams or any of these other creationist streams, you can tell who the creationists are just by their arrogance and their disrespect. Is it like everywhere? Like, I see a lot of non-creationists or non-young earthers are being very respectful, and they're talking, but it seems like the rest of the crew, they call everybody names and such. Is that just normal all over YouTube?
I think my take on it is it kind of depends, for one, on their well, just the amount of Dunning-Kruger there. So like
Right.
how much they know, how much they don't know, because that can play a part. I also think I tend to think it's a spectrum because I can't really say if all atheists or all agnostics are not acting in that way. I think some do, and I think some creationists, like you said, are generally polite and respectful.
Mm.
So I think
Rebecca.
it depends. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So but I think the reason you see that is the whole idea behind creationism and drawing this line in the sand. They're not just against atheism or evolution. They're against almost every other faction of Christianity, right?
Right.
That's true.
So it's like they know the truth and nobody else does. So in a lot of ways, it's kind of this tribal instinct that people have of you separate each other based on what you believe, and you form these little cliques.
Right.
And I think they formed this extremely obnoxious, narcissistic clique where they know the truth and the rest of the world is just deluded. And that's why they fire back so badly. And it's a phenomena in human beings that you see everywhere, across politics, across everything. You know, we divide into these little cliques, and it's like, oh, we believe in this, and the other people, they don't get it.
I think it's also because they tend to be the most vocal group, mainly because they're the smallest group for the most part.
Right.
Of Christianity.
Yeah, you gotta yell louder. Yeah.
Right.
But there was an interesting experiment, and I've been trying to find information about this because I've read about it in books. But they took a bunch of boys, young boys, like, I don't know, 13, 14 years old, and they put them on an island. And they let them create their own society, their own rules. You know, they didn't have any guidance from adults at all. They could pretty much decide what they did. Well, this group formed into two halves. One half believed that swearing was wonderful, and the other half believed that it was horrible and forbidden. And the experiment was supposed to run for 30 days, but they had to cancel the experiment on about the 20th day because they were afraid the kids were going to kill each other over this issue of swearing is good, swearing is bad. That was it. And so it was a remarkable experiment that told you how we divide into groups and how we create our own lingo. You know, in a lot of ways, you know, I'm a really old man now, but back in the 60s, we used to be the teenagers and the young people, and we hated the establishment or anybody over 30. And we had names for them, and we'd make fun of them. And basically, we were dividing ourselves. And there's an author named Steven Pinker, and he's done a lot of work in that field, and he's talked about it a lot. One of his books is on language, and he explains how we divide ourselves based on the kind of language we use, even. And we're always dividing, and forming cliques and fighting with each other. And it kind of like leaves me without hope for us, you know? I don't know. But I think go ahead.
Or me and Dessel might disagree on this, but I think this is one reason why science has to be a communitary enterprise. It can't be a solitary one, because you need that diversity of opinions and biases, for that matter, because everyone has their biases, but it's only when you combine them, when they are allowed to kind of have the talk, basically, and communicate with one another, that you can sort them out. I don't think generally that science or, well, conversation can be done just in a lone attitude.
Yeah. So
yeah,
go ahead.
I was just agreeing with Andrew. I think that's the strength of the scientific method, is it can be done by anybody, anywhere, anytime, and if it has the same results, it's hard to argue.
Right, exactly. Like, you can have Buddhists, you can have atheists, you can have Christians, and they all accept evolution from these various religions. That's strong evidence that there really is a consensus.
But I hear all the time on SFT's group about the ideology controls how you view the evidence.
Right.
What do you guys think
No.
about that?
Yeah, I don't think it's that subjective. I don't think they quite understand how science works.
My take on it is that any observation, like the data, they are correct that the data does not speak for itself. You have to interpret it. I would prefer the word infer explanations from it based on that data. But there is a method to it because some explanations are more reasonable, more rational than others.
Yeah.
Just looking at forensics, for example, if there was evidence in favor of someone killing another person, you can't go on and make up ad hoc reasons why a totally unrelated person did it instead because of unknown reasons. So
Ozymandias was in the chat, and we've had a little discussion about this label evolutionist, and I don't like having that label applied to me. And this is going to be kind of hard to explain, but I pretty much study this stuff every day, right? It's my whole life, but I don't do it in such a way that I say, oh, evolution is true, or I've proven evolution, or I'm trying to prove evolution. What I do is I'm down in the weeds, in the minutia, looking at one particular genomic, mechanism, and never do I come up and say, oh, I'm proving evolution.
Right.
It doesn't. So I think in a lot of ways, like when somebody poses the question, how did this evolve? My first response is, I don't know. And my second response is, let me look. And the whole time I'm looking, I'm very skeptical about the mechanism, right? Because I don't know what it is, right? And I'm trying to figure it out. So I'm not going to just find some bullshit piece of data and say, oh, that's how it, that it's true because of this data or whatever. I keep looking every day. So I don't see, it's like when I first got into embryology and how organisms develop, I was like totally almost like a non-believer. It's like, this is a miracle. How could a zygote turn into a human being? And every little piece that I found, I was skeptical of, right? And I had to vet it and I had to put it together in this whole. So I don't like this idea of, oh, I'm an evolutionist, that I just, at the end of the day or at the beginning of the day, this is what I accept. No, that's not how I do it. If I did that, I would stop reading, right? Why would I look if I already knew the answer? So does that make sense? So I don't like that label.
Right.
So I don't know.
Labels suck.
Well, good science, you're always skeptical. They're always arguing. They're always fighting over this phylogeny or that phylogeny. And,
right.
God, I was looking at one of the reasons why I'm so damn bad at biology and phylogeny is because when you look at it, there are so many different trees sometimes. You don't know which one to actually memorize or learn, right? Because they keep moving them around. I mean, they keep adjusting what we know and what we believe all the time. Nobody's sitting there. Go ahead. Respond to that. Tell me. You know more than I do about that.
I think generally, yeah, like you can consider the general layout may be changing, but I think it's more of a refinement because, well, I read somewhere once that, like, I think it was 2016 that, this study is rewriting the entire mammal phylogeny. And if you look at them overall, they do look quite dissimilar. But if you look into it, the major branches are still there. So I think in general, our understanding of phylogenetics is becoming more accurate over time. And yes, some things are changing, some arrangements are changing. But I think it's like I said, more refinement than anything. Because no one looked at darn it, I can't think of an example. Yeah, go ahead.
They like when archaea popped up, when they looked into ribosome subunits, they were doing all of these phylogenies based on that. And then they started looking more into the nuclear genome, and they found, and I think things started to shift a little bit, and I'm not sure where they are right now. It isn't my my main field of subject, so I'm not sure where we're at.
Right.
But
that's another thing about creationism, and I'm sure Sean has seen this too. But like when you ask you a question and you say, "I honestly don't know. This isn't what I study," and this is generally what I dislike about the whole debate attitude going on around right now, is like, just because you don't know something, that doesn't make you ignorant or anything. It just means that your knowledge is limited and it can change. And for one thing, you're not omnipotent or anything. So,
right.
Yep, I agree.
Yep.
you know, like I feel like we need to stop acting like saying I don't know is a bad thing. It's a good thing in science. It shows that you're trying to learn.
Well, Cell did it in that video last night. He said, you know, you ask him how this evolved, and they'll say, I don't know. And, you know, and he was slamming us because we don't know how mammary glands evolved exactly. There's a whole lot of things, and we're never going to know entirely exactly how something evolved. It's kind of like that cartoon. Was it South Park or something? I don't know where they did it, but they were talking about missing links, and they kept filling in the missing links, and but there's a missing link between this and this, and then you keep subdividing it, right? So we're never going to know entirely. So I mean, I don't know is a pretty goddamn good position.
How would you even know that you know it all?
I know, yeah. Yeah, and as far as figuring out exactly how everything evolved, that history has been erased, and that's not accessible to us. The only thing we can do is to find mechanisms that connect together in the network, and we can show you that this is how it could have happened, but we don't know how it did happen. And new information will come out and blow one thing apart, and you'll look at another path.
You got the cartoon wrong, Speed. It was Futurama.
Futurama, okay. Yeah, that was it was funny. Didn't they have about 20 different skulls or something like that? And they kept finding
I generally dislike the missing. I think it's fascinating how we kind of once took that viewpoint and how well it's still kind of popular today. But like in general, the science of it is like, I just generally dislike the whole scientific use of the term missing link. It's too orthogenetic.
Yeah. Look at this guy here. Irreducible and interdependent complex systems cannot be the product of evolution. That's a religion, Otangelo. I don't know. That's a religious comment. How do you know that?
Yeah, you got a shrine built to that statement.
Yeah, did God come down and tell you that? Did God whisper in your ear and say, "Oh, yeah, couldn't possibly be the product of evolution"? And Cell was also complaining that we tell them that they don't understand evolution, and what we mean is when they make comments like that, is that they haven't looked into these minutia, these little intricate steps going from one phase to another, as much as somebody else has. And it gets frustrating when people make global statements like that as if they know. I mean, Otangelo, the most brilliant person on the earth, the most brilliant biologist around, knows that it's impossible. How in the fuck do you know? That's what I want to know. How do you know? I don't know. Anyway. Studying science, what is Kafai going on about? Okay, for him, studying science was in a sense an attempt to understand what Einstein called the mind of God. Oh my God, oh God, I'm sorry I highlighted that. Sorry, Kafai. Much. Anyway. Dead air, guys. What's up? Oh, shit. You're all muted but me.
Yeah, I wish we could get Brainbug on here and maybe he could review that conversation with the creationist he was talking about.
Which one?
On his channel. He had a conversation with creationists on his channel earlier today.
He did?
Yeah, he shared the link with us.
Oh, where's the link? Have I not put
it's
it
in the side
description?
chat somewhere. Not the private chat, but I think I still have it up.
I'll go to his channel.
I got it right here. I'm going to do the...
I bet I'm faster than you. Well, maybe not.
You think you are?
No, maybe. I don't know. Maybe.
All right, there we go. It's in the private chat.
Oh, you're faster than me. Damn you, Scott.
Darn me.
You beat me. Okay. Oh,
What happened on another channel?
Cafe
Okay.
sounds like he sounds like Joel. The comments he's making about Einstein and Spinoza and
yeah, he does.
yeah.
Kafai and Joel very much sound alike when they talk about that stuff. It's like, and I don't really think you don't have Spinoza right at all. I have like a 2-volume set on Spinoza's works, and there's controversy about what he believes about God. And part of it, I think, is he was trying to avoid getting his head chopped off. I don't know. There's a lot of that going on back then because he had some pretty radical views. I think Spinoza
Radical dude.
He was an atheist. He was of the view that nature was God, that is one and the same, and Kafai will argue about that until the cows come home. So let me see here. Start cam, and here's Brainbug's video, live from the Hive, January 8th, 2022. Oh, it's Saturday. I forgot Live from the Hive was on, so I missed it. Anyway, we will link this. So he was talking to a creationist where?
Hold on for a second.
Hey, get that, Scott. You might want to get that. Okay. Nerd Agonies. I'm going to put Live from the Hive. I'll put a link in the description to Brainbug's video. He does a really good show every Saturday morning that everybody should listen to. They're very entertaining.
Yep.
They're not too long.
I do all the time.
Yep. I usually do on Saturday, but this morning somehow I forgot that it's Saturday. Because we never do a weather report on Saturday.
Yeah. Jefferson had a stream. He started a stream early this morning, and he went for quite a while, too.
Oh, Leo, Einstein rejected that label because atheist used to mean a different thing back then. And don't give me this shit. Einstein was an atheist. He just didn't like the label. He had some sort of like even I have this idea that all of nature is my God. I mean, I worship complexity in nature. And it's all perfectly natural, but I'm still an atheist because I don't see any mind in the sky. And Einstein did not believe it was possible for there to be an intelligent mind creating the universe. He thought it was natural. And the same with Spinoza. And that makes him atheist, as far as I'm concerned. If you think all of the universe is God, then you're still an atheist. But we can quibble over labels, right?
Labels,
Boy, I feel alone. I feel very lonely.
We're here with you. It's just the phone rang and I had to take it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Are you going to play this, or what are you doing?
Well, should we play? Well, it's 2 hours and 18 minutes.
Well, I thought it was just a portion of it.
You're at,
so.
you're at
128, which is the
128.
Which is the point in it where he started doing that talk.
Oh, yeah. 128
or something.
Okay.
You were on it.
It would be nice to have Brainbug come aboard and set it up for us because, gosh, I like Brainbug. I like to get him on the panel as much as possible.
Okay, let me go ahead and play it. Can we hear it? Oh, no, I can't hear it.
Discussion, yeah.
You're good now.
Okay.
I had it pulled up, but I kind of waffled about whether I should share it or not. But if you're okay with it, we will watch. Okay.
Those glasses, he looks like he's going to play the
Here
piano.
is my interaction with Ronnie Earls of Orkney, who you see in the live chat now, regarding this painting to protect themselves. But at the time of Saul, the Philistines and those wars, was the Bronze Age. There wasn't a lot of iron or steel to make any kind of shiny.
Well, that's what we've been told. That's what we've been told.
Well, I mean, I don't know.
Doesn't make it true though, does it?
Because we do find bronze weapons from that time. Well,
let me ask you this, sir. Let me interrupt you real quick since you're talking about history. What about the iron dagger that was found in Akhenaten's tomb? How do you reconcile that? You can call it meteoric iron if you like.
Yeah.
But how do you reconcile that? How were they able to forge it
in some
Akhenaten's time?
Some Inuit people in like Greenland, they would make their spearheads out of iron too.
Okay.
Really cool. They would make meteoric iron was the easiest to harvest because it's right there on the surface as opposed to.
So let me ask you a question now about history, and we're talking this painting, the Suicide of Saul. I'm going to go right back and toggle back to this page. Let me find the date right there. Painted in 1562 by Peter Bruegel the Elder. Let me toggle back here. Long before modern paleontology was existing, why are there pictures of giants riding on top of brontosauruses in a picture that was painted in 1562? Can you reconcile that?
Brontosauruses?
This is right here. Yeah. What do you see? Do you see it? This is on that painting. See, there's an overview of the painting right there. Peter Bruegel the Elder, painted in 1562. You see those red arrows?
Yeah.
Here's the zoom in of what those arrows are. People riding brontosauruses, painted in 1562.
Okay. Just before I get too far into it, I just want to say that when I started off there, I kind of started in the middle of a sentence. What I was talking.
Okay, hold on a second here. This painting that they're showing, the only thing available are really fuzzy little images of it. Why is that?
Yeah, I don't know.
Let me see if I can pull it up. And I mean, it's really shitty is what it is. The resolution is horrible. Why is the resolution so horrible? I don't quite know.
It's always with these cryptids or whatever. It's always poor focus or resolution or whatever. I don't even know what we're seeing. The guy said these are giants. They look.
Yeah, that's what he's.
I can't see enough of the picture to even, see what the how it looks against the bigger setting.
Why does it almost look like a giant tortoise?
Yeah, I don't know. Let's see here.
Well, you have a big long neck there. Yeah, I don't know what it is. I can't tell from this picture.
I'm trying to get a better copy of it here. And I'm having a bit of okay, I got it. Let's see if I can pull it up.
Did anyone else enter the chat while I was away?
I don't think so. I'm not sure. I don't pay attention. I'm horrible at paying attention to chat.
That's okay.
So let's see here. Let's see if we can expand these brontosauruses. What? Those look like camels.
Yeah, Brainbug just
pointed
that out.
They are indeed camels.
There
I did
go.
lots of research on this.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Bruegel the Elder probably did not paint these either. We talk about that later on in the video. I explain all that to him, but actually break some ground with him before he loses his shit over me bringing up that what we understand about language in academia. He got really mad about it, but before that, we had a good. I was able to lay down some good facts about this painting and explain to him what he's seeing when he looks at it. And are you taking off, a rational empiricist? Are you leaving us?
No, it's me. I've got to go. Thanks for inviting me, guys.
Oh,
no problem. Nice talking.
Keep coming. It was a great chat.
Anytime. Yeah.
All right. Thanks.
Thanks.
But you notice when they show you these images, they always focus on these two here that are side by side. There's a third camel that you can see in this. That's like a train of soldiers. There's a third camel that's on the other side of the painting here, or a few a ways away from these two. That's much more clearly a camel.
Okay.
And this is one reason why eyewitness accounts and paintings are not good scientific evidence.
Yeah, they got those two blown up, but then the ones to the right they don't. So that's interesting.
And Ozzy, he points out too, said, and I was wondering about this, if Bruegel had ever actually seen a camel.
Right. That it wasn't even. It's suspected it wasn't even Bruegel that painted this, but his apprentice. Because these old artists, they'd have their apprentice when they do these big, fancy portraits like that or pictures like that. They'd have their apprentice paint the minor details, and they'd focus on the main focal point, which in this was the suicide of Saul on the other side of the painting. This is just a tiny section in the background of an army marching by. And that's why Saul was committing suicide. I mean, it's based on the Bible story,
so this
right?
is supposed to be Philistines.
Yeah, but the thing was, no one had really, unless you like saw I think those are the Philistines. That's why they really focus on these being giants, like Goliath.
We were like grasshoppers in their eyes.
Yeah, and but the people at the time in Europe, in Northern Europe, like what we're seeing here, he's a Germanic artist. He did travel in Italy a lot, but what we're seeing here is actually a depiction by somebody who'd never seen a camel before. They'd seen them in bestiaries and maybe books at the local church or the local library, very stylized versions of camels where they were drawn with like ostrich necks. It was basically like an ostrich head on the body. Is how
right,
they would
because this was
them
before realism in painting.
Yeah, the curves in the necks were did make sure that you punctuated just how long and curvy the animal's neck was. Look at this one. There's the one on the other side. Zoom out a little bit, Speed. Zoom out just a bit because you can see its legs here very clearly. Camels.
Now, are they wearing some sort of Moorish kind of headdress or something?
Well, look at the resolution on this. This is like, where did this picture come from? I mean, where's the painting, or is the painting that defaced? That's how it looks.
No, these are actually the images, and these animals in these pictures in this painting are tiny. These are like minute brush strokes to create these, and then you add 500 years of just nature on them, just being exposed to open air, and they just kind of warm out. But yeah, so old painting on old canvas.
Well, there's a clear hump there, and that's a camel. Anyway, okay. So there's that. Should we listen to any more of this, or you want to go further?
I don't care if you go a little bit further, or if you want to. It's up to you. It's your channel. I don't mind you sharing it here, though.
Or we could just let you, and I put it in the description, and we encourage everybody to go watch your Saturday morning shows. But
the conversation gets good. Yeah, go watch it. Don't go watch it now and leave the stream.
yeah. No, leave my stream. This is bullshit. Just go over there and watch it now. I approve. Anyway.
I'm Speed of Sound, and I approve this message.
Yeah, I get why because if you look at these ones, these two back here, that whoever and that's why I think maybe it was his apprentice, whoever the artist was, made the legs too short and it made it look weird. But the other camel looks fine.
Yeah, it's a lot longer.
Unless this one's supposed to be laying down, which it might be. That's kind of how camels' bodies look when they lay down.
And I don't really know what point he's trying to make, because this is supposed to be Saul committing suicide.
Right. The suicide of Saul is the name of the painting.
Okay. The flood was long over with by then. These things were supposed to be extinct by then.
Right. Oh, no. This is the same crowd that thinks that there's still dinosaurs around in the Congo. The Civil War soldiers shot a pterodactyl, that kind of stuff.
Okay.
That's the crowd that I'm interacting with here. When I go into conversations with these folks, I go deep. I like to explore their ideas.
Okay, I guess I won't leave that up. But anyway, let's see. So I think we should shoot it in the head. What do you think? Quit where we're ahead. Do you want to comment any more on that? First of all, who were you talking to? Who was that guy?
His YouTube channel is what is it? Earls of Orkney.
Earls of Orkney?
Yeah, his name's Ronnie. I've been interacting with him the last few days. I'm still interacting with him a little bit.
Did you put a link to his channel?
Yeah.
Or could you? Yeah. Yeah, I want to go ahead and check this out.
Yeah, I'll put a link out there.
Was it fun? Did you have fun?
Oh yeah. Well, until he got a temper about it. They all kind of did. They all kind of got hung up on.
Why'd they get mad?
Huh?
Why'd they get mad?
Because they felt, I guess they said that it was him and a couple other people. They felt like I was talking down to them with the language I used and stuff like that.
Oh, did you use big words?
Well, no, I use words like theropod and diapsid.
Yeah.
But the guy, before he started this conversation with me, before he started showing me this stuff, he's like, I used to really like dinosaurs and paleontology. So I'm like, okay, so he knows some dinosaur and paleontology terminology. And then he got really mad and said I was talking down to him.
Interesting.
Wow. Yeah, because I guess they believe those kind of things existed, and somehow a 16th century Italian painter's apprentice would know that.
Right.
But yeah, that's weird. Of course, I guess they're believing that they existed in the 16th century too.
Happy birthday to Kafai. He was born on the 6th of January. So that's good.
Oh, how nice. Awesome. I think today's Erica's birthday. I thought I saw a tweet about that. And she hit 20,000 subs today as well.
Damn her.
So on whatever social media is appropriate for you, wish Gutsick Gibbon a happy birthday, everybody.
Can somebody ban Germania? He brought up Fodor.
Now I have to put a fork through my eye.
Anyway.
My thing about Fodor, Gur, if you want to know my opinion on it, is I don't really care. It doesn't matter to me. Fodor doesn't make any argument. Nothing in his argument is advising that natural selection doesn't work or that it isn't happening or doesn't evolve in evolution. It's an argument over whether we should call it a theory or not, and I don't really care as long as it's accepted. That's my position on it.
Yeah, there's no prescription for us. That was my conclusion. It's like it's like, what are you talking about? We're not even.
Argument over how to describe it, basically, what natural selection is. Can you describe it as a theory or not? I don't really. It's irrelevant. It works. It makes sense.
Oh, Ellen Watts was born on the 6th of January. Amazing. That's why my mom had me, is because Ellen Watts was born on the 6th. So my mom decided I'd be born on the 7th. Ellen Watts is my my hero, my favorite atheist, my favorite secular Buddhist. Haha. Take that, Kafai. Okay, can we shoot her in the head, guys?
If you want to.
Well, come on now. It's a committee.
Yeah, let's shoot her in the head.
Oh,
yeah, sure.
You. Okay. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I suggest it. Okay, I suggest it, and you guys are supposed to agree with me. That's how it works on my channel. Right.
Shoot it. Quick.
Yes,
get back up. Shoot it now.
Shoot it.
Okay. Goodbye, crew world. We're ending.